What's going on, brother?
How much? How are you?
Man, another day. All right.
Good.
Right there. Either one. It don't matter. Is that one of your brother's trucking hats?
Heck no, it's Black Rifle. You're doing pretty good though.
I saw him not too long ago.
Man, I'm Detective Boncho, State Police, Post Road, State Police. We're gonna get some information from you real quick,
Sir.
but first, we're gonna. All right. Today's date is March 9th, 2023. Time now is 9:10 a.m. Man, we're gonna do a statement of rights form. This is just a copy of it. If you want to follow along with me, I'll have one here for you to sign. What is your last name?
Pollitt, P-O-L-L-I-T-T.
First name?
Richard.
R-I-C-H-A-R-D.
Yes.
Do you know your driver's license number off the top of your head? Or you got it on you?
I have it on. It is 958-7772.
All right. Your date of birth?
8/27/90. I'm 32.
What's the last grade you completed? Do you have any college?
Some college.
College. Okay. All right. Look, I'm gonna start right here at the top and just work my way down. I'm gonna ask these 5 questions. I'm sorry, I want read this out, these first 5 bullets, and then ask you these 3 questions.
Yes, sir.
Before we ask any questions, you must understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court or other proceedings. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before questioning, and you have the right to have a lawyer present during questioning. You have the right to a lawyer's advice in the presence of a lawyer, even if you cannot afford to hire one. In such case, a lawyer can be appointed to represent you. If you decide to answer questions without a lawyer present, you still have the right to stop answering questions at any time. You understand your rights?
Yes, sir.
Are you willing to answer questions at this time?
Yes.
Has any threats or promises been made to you, or has any pressure of any kind been used to get you to answer questions or give up your rights?
No.
Just sign
Matters blue.
that. Yeah, that's fine. Man, this is a list of questions we have. It's just for me to stay on track to make sure I ask you everything so we don't have to call you back in here and go over something again. If you see me writing something down in here, that's all I'm doing. I'm just asking and writing down. The same way right here. Once we get into your story, your side of everything, if you see me or Pro write anything down, it's just for us to make a mental note to come back and follow up with it so we can try to just get everything clear and whatnot. All right. So your full name is Richard Pollitt.
Yes, sir.
What was your date of birth again?
8/27/90. I'm 32.
What's your badge number?
4905.
And who are you employed with?
Bossier City Police.
Okay. What's your radio call sign?
K92.
All right. And what's your current assignment at the Bossier City Police Department?
K9 and SWAT.
Okay. With you being K9, do you work regular patrol shifts also, or like how?
No, I work 5 to 2
Okay. 5 p.m.
p.m. Yes, sir.
What are your days off?
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
And with being K9, can you kind of describe to me like what's your roles as a K9 officer during your shift hours?
Now since I'm the only dog on the streets, I'm kind of attached to street crimes under DSI, Department of Special Investigations, and we conduct traffic stops, surveillance at hotels. That's really, I mean, if there's warrants, we'll hit warrants some nights, and that's really about it.
Okay, so
I
anything,
mean, I assist patrol quite a bit. I mean, if it's, for the most part, any domestics, alarm calls, any minor calls that I can take care of just to take more heat off of patrol to get them up and available, I'll take that. But other than that, it's mainly with street crimes.
okay. And how long have you been employed with the Bossier Police Department?
June of 2020. So is it 3 years almost?
And did you work anywhere else before that?
Yes, sir. From 2016, 2017, I was with Bossier Sheriff. After that, I went to school for a while, and then I was employed at Shreveport Police for a little over 2 years.
Okay. Alrighty. On the day of the incident, and the incident we're talking about is going to be this past Saturday. There was a pursuit that started in Houghton. It went all the way down US 80 into Bossier City and ended in the shooting. You know what the incident we're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In reference to that incident, what were your duty hours that day?
They were 5 to 2, 5 P to 2 A.
Were you working regular duty and your special details that time?
My regular canine duty, yes, sir.
48 hours prior to that incident, did you work any special extra details, work any extra shifts, anything like that?
Yes, sir.
Could you describe your uniform as a canine, like your everyday uniform, and the one that you were wearing that day?
It was green 511 pants, green shoes, a green SWAT t-shirt underneath a green vest, and a green hat.
All right. Can you describe your vest? Like, did it have a badge on it, a patch on it? Maybe it said police or canine or anything like that?
Yes, sir. I had a big patch on the back that said police. The front had a small patch that said police, as well as a badge on the left side.
Okay. All right. Your equipment. So I know since you have an outer carry vest, you might carry some equipment on that and on your rig belt.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me all the equipment that you do have or did have that day?
On my vest, I have a radio pouch with my handheld radio, a smaller pouch that has a tourniquet, a small handheld flashlight, and a canine leash, 6-foot leash in it. On my rig belt, I had my pistol, handcuff pouch, and a drop pouch or dump pouch, and 3 magazines, pistol magazines.
Okay. Were you carrying a taser?
No, sir.
Were you carrying mace?
No, sir.
Or OC spray? Were you carrying a baton?
No, sir.
Okay. And talking about your magazines, how many total magazines to include the one that was in your pistol?
4.
4 magazines.
Yes, sir.
And what pistol do you shoot?
Glock 17.
Or 17. Is that a 9mm?
Yes, sir.
Does it have a 17 round capacity magazine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the magazine that was inserted into your gun, to say topped off meant that it was full. So if it has 17 round capacity, there were 17 rounds inside of it. Did you have a full topped off magazine inserted in your gun with one in the chamber? Or did you have
Before or after?
before?
No, sir. It was missing 3 or 4 rounds.
Okay.
Do it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Last walk practice, we did some shooting, and I don't think I topped all the way off. I don't know if I was missing 3 or 4 rounds, but I know I was missing a couple. But all the other ones were topped off.
Okay, so the one that was inserted into your pistol, it was missing 3 or 4.
Yes, sir.
But you did have one in the chamber at the time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then the other 3 that you had, were they topped off?
Yes, sir.
They were all completely full?
All of them.
Okay. Could you describe the vehicle you're driving at the time of this incident?
It was a marked Bossier City K9 F-150.
Could you just describe the unit? Was there, by saying marked, was there stickers? Was there anything indicating police, lights, things like that?
Yeah, so there's a light bar on top, lights on the front grille, on the bottom foot rails. It was black with ghosted Bossier City Police decals on both sides, and the back had my unit number on it.
Okay. By ghosted, could you describe the ghosted letters?
It was a lighter shade of, it was gray, so gray letters on a black vehicle.
Okay. Is that something at nighttime, whenever lights hit it, that's supposed to shine brighter?
Yes,
Or is
sir.
there some- Okay. Did you have any occupants in the vehicle with you?
No, it's just my K9 partner.
And the K9 was in the, I guess, the back hatch,
Yes,
the
sir.
the back seat area.
The
of
whole
your-
back seat's like a big cage for him, so he's sitting back there.
Okay. Do you have an in-car camera?
Yes, sir, I do.
Was it activated during this?
Yes. It does not have a speaker due to my K9 though.
Okay.
Like inside, there's no speaker.
Okay, so if you're talking inside of it, it won't pick that up.
No, sir.
Do you have a mic box that's attached to it?
I do.
Okay.
And it was on my charger during that, because as soon as I got to the office, I heard this over the radio. And I synced my mic box on the way, and I never took it off because it happened pretty quick.
Okay.
So I don't know if it picked up, I don't know if it records when it's on the actual charger or not.
Where's the charger right inside your unit?
Right to the right of my seat, kind of comes off the dog cage.
Okay. Your spotlight, emergency lights, sirens, in-car radio, and computer, was that all functioning properly? Do you
Yes.
have all those things, and were they functioning properly?
Yes, sir.
Outside of your in-car camera and your mic box being docked inside the unit, would you have any other audio recording devices, such as a
My
body
body-worn
camera?
camera.
Okay. Was that activated during the event?
Yes, sir.
Outside of your body camera and your in-car camera, was there any other audio or video recording that's either provided by the police department or is your own that you remember?
No, sir.
Okay. Are you on the SWAT team that you said earlier?
Yes, sir.
Could you just briefly describe to me like your role as a SWAT team member, kind of trainings and things you've done and learned throughout it?
Now I'm the team breacher. I've been to a couple breaching schools, a couple CQB schools. For the most part, now my roles, I'm still a breacher, but it's kind of changed since I have a K9. I'll be in the stack, depending on what the severity of the call out is. I'll either be in the stack as an entry team, or I'll be in the back with the K9 in case somebody runs out the back or one of the windows.
Okay. During your SWAT training, do y'all go over, and you correct, I'm not on the SWAT, you have to correct me if I'm wrong. Do y'all go over maybe entries into houses or maybe felony takedowns of cars? I know you mentioned CQB.
Yes.
Could you explain that a little bit more?
CQB it's close quarter battle. Make entry into a structure or house or apartment or something, then you pretty much clear that structure from room to room. I mean, tight quarters.
Okay, so I guess during the training, you're taught to maybe recognize a threat and different
Yes.
ways to handle situations like that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Man, in your own words, from the time that you heard about this incident, from the first time you were notified, at whatever part of the incident was going on, can you walk me through that and walk me all the way through to the very end of it?
Yes, sir. I got to, being under DSI, we have a separate building. So I got to the DSI building like a normal day. Sat down, talked to the supervisor. We always have a radio on in that building. Somebody, I believe it was Officer Watson, came over and said, there's a vehicle going 100 plus past Bipsy. Being K9, I'm in most pursuits so I can deploy my dog. I heard that. I threw my issued vest on, went to my unit. I got in my unit and I was getting updates. I heard over the radio, he's heading westbound on East Texas. He is armed and he was going 100 plus miles an hour. The DSI building is close to the boardwalk, so I got in my truck and I started heading east on East Texas. I was just before the intersection of Benton and East Texas when he wrecked out. I could see it, but I wasn't there yet, and I heard it come over the radio. At that point, I was in the inside lane, heading east. Light was red. Couldn't get around. He wrecked out, so I went oncoming traffic, had my license signs on, made sure the intersection was clear, everybody stopped. Went across the intersection where he wrecked out. He was on the passenger side of the truck. Only spot I could really get was, I was still eastbound lane, but I kind of angled my vehicle towards his to block traffic and to get some eyes on whatever was going on. Opened my door, rounds started coming out of his windshield. A couple rounds started going off to my right, shooting into his vehicle. At that point, I got my duty pistol, returned fire into his truck. There was, I don't know how many rounds I fired. I know I did a reload, but I wasn't at slide lock. I always try to keep a fresh magazine in. There was a little lull, and somebody to my right said he's still moving. More gunfire went off to my right, so I continued to return fire into the vehicle. I did another reload. Myself and a BPSO deputy kind of moved ourselves to the right. At that point, I was right here. He was kind of to my left. I know there was a halting guy behind me. They stacked up behind me. There was more deputies and people over here. I told them to kind of shift right so there wasn't a crossfire. I know we had stopped firing at that point, and they all kind of circled around and got behind me. I looked behind me. I made sure everybody was kind of stacked up and good. I asked everybody, hey, is everybody okay? Is everybody good? At that point, I told them to cover the window. I proceeded to the truck. The sunroof glass was not there. It was just the kind of visor cover. So I went up, I held cover on that. I made sure everybody was good one last time. Put my hand on the visor. I kind of checked up, opened the visor. I checked in to see the status of the subject, the driver. At that point, I did a quick peek. I didn't look around the vehicle or anything. I called for fire department to come assess the situation and do what they could because that was above my skill set. Immediately after I did a quick peek, I pulled back. That's when I called the fire department, and I made sure everybody else was okay. No officers were struck by any rounds or anything like that. And I just stood by, kind of out of the scene until other people showed up.
Okay. Going back, let's start back at the pursuit.
Yes, sir.
So you were at what building?
It's the DSI building.
DSI.
It's in,
Is that the one
I
that's
think it's the Waterworks
okay.
type of compound. It's the far back. So you have to go through that gate to get back to the DSI building.
So you came out and you were listening to the pursuit. What were you hearing on the radio as you were going?
They were kind of giving updates of his direction. I know they said he was armed. I don't know what he was armed with. They said he was armed and his speeds. Other than that, I didn't hear too much. I was trying to button up my vest. I just heard the constant updates of locations. He's passing, I know they said approaching Airline East Texas, went through Airline East Texas, still heading westbound East Texas. And then at that point I was getting closer, so I was more so trying to look for him and find him and see if I needed to continue going eastbound or if I needed to pull over and kind of wait for him to pass me. And then when they said he wrecked out, I could visually see that he wrecked out, and at that point I just straight visual as we went around. When I got there, I threw it in park. Rounds started cracking off. Immediately got in my vehicle and started sending rounds towards suspect vehicle.
Okay, so you were never in the pursuit?
No, sir.
As it was
I was
going.
never in the pursuit.
By the time you got on scene or where the pursuit ended, there was no more the vehicle. What was the description of the vehicle? Could you describe that a little bit?
I know it was a truck. It was dark in color. It was flipped on the passenger side. It had a sunroof. I don't know if it was an Avalanche or a regular. It was like some type of Avalanche, or that style of truck. Other than that, I don't know. I didn't look at make or model.
Okay, but it was on its passenger side?
Yes, sir.
Which way was the vehicle facing?
Facing southbound towards
Okay.
the Zaxby's was the engine block. Truck bed was northbound.
Okay, so where you parked, I know you said you tried to block traffic so people couldn't
Yes.
come into the deal. Where you parked at, what could you visually see whenever you initially parked or drove up? What could you see? Could you see
I could see his hood, his front windshield, the roof of the vehicle, pretty much the entire top of the vehicle.
Okay. Could you see, like you said, you saw the windshield? Could you see a person inside the windshield? What did you see?
I
Could
could
you
not
inside?
see. I could not fully see inside. It was from my angle. It was mainly dash. I couldn't see a person. All I saw was bullet holes in the windshield and rounds coming in and out of the windshield.
Okay.
That's about all I could see. I never saw a person or where he was located at in that vehicle. I don't know if he was standing up, laying down, crouched down. I couldn't
Okay.
see.
So your perception whenever you got out of your vehicle, I think you said it earlier, you perceived him to be shooting out of the vehicle, and maybe there were some other officers or deputies shooting at him also.
Yes, sir.
Could you kind of describe where were the deputies at?
I heard rounds coming from my right. I don't know how far. I was mainly focused on the threat that was in front of me. And there was, I don't know when the BPSO deputy got to my left, but I know at some point very early on, we linked up and were kind of shoulder by shoulder, making sure each other were okay, and we were both sending rounds towards the suspect vehicle.
Okay.
And that was fairly early, like right after I got out of my vehicle.
Okay. So what was your thought process? What was your mindset whenever you got out of your vehicle and you see or hear gunshots coming from your right, and you said earlier you perceived gunshots coming from inside of the vehicle? What was your mind? What were you thinking at that point?
Worried about my safety and the safety of the officers around me.
Okay.
And the civilians Zaxby's was pretty popping. There was a lot of civilians going through trying to get food and eat.
Okay. And so after, I think you said there was a lull in fire. So after the initial lull, and then you said you started moving, were you moving to your left? And
Yes,
that's
sir.
where you and a Bossier deputy linked up?
Yes, sir.
Can you walk me through, was there a second volley of fire or a second round?
Yes, sir. There was a second volley. Me and the deputy to my left stopped firing for a little bit, and somebody to my right, I don't know if it was Butcher City. I know there was I don't know what his role was. An older gentleman, I know he's ADA something that comes and rides out every so often. I know he was to my right. There was a Halton guy to my right. Somebody said, hey, there's still movement in there, and rounds from my right started going back off. So we started a second volley of rounds. I don't know how many shots were fired at that point either. And then somebody else to my right called ceasefire. So everybody ceasefire at that moment, and that's when they kind of peeled behind me, and I walked up and checked inside the vehicle.
Okay. The second volley of fire, could you, at that point, whenever you moved, could you see inside the vehicle at all?
No, sir. All I saw was the top roof of his vehicle,
Okay.
and the sunroof it had that little cover on it, so I couldn't see inside the vehicle.
Okay. Like the first round, the second round, whenever you were looking at the windshield, did you perceive rounds coming in or out, or did you think it was both?
When I first got out, I perceived rounds coming out, and the law enforcement to my right sending rounds in that windshield.
Okay.
I don't know where I didn't look to see where they were located. I was mainly focused on the threat in front of me, because where I was parked, kind of in front of his vehicle.
Okay.
So I don't know where the rounds were going, but I was worried about my safety and the safety of guys to my left and my right.
Okay. So after the second volley of round stopping, I think you said you and maybe the Bossier deputy, did y'all move up? Could you kind of walk me through moving up and then finally clearing the vehicle?
So I paused, I moved far left, where I was directly in front of the roof of his vehicle. I know there was more law enforcement kind of peeling to the right. I don't know if they went behind my truck and behind us, but I kind of waited for them to stack up behind us. I made sure, I did a quick check, I made sure the deputy was good. I think the Halton guy was behind him, made sure he was good. The deputies behind and officers behind them. I said, hey, is everybody good? Kind of got some nods, kind of got some looks, some stares. Physically, everybody looked okay. I said, all right, moving up. So I slowly moved up to the vehicle. I got pretty close. I looked back again. I said, hey, cover the windshield. I went up, kind of reached my hand on the sun visor. I looked back again just to let them know that, hey, I'm about to open this. I was ready. Open it, made a quick peek in the vehicle. Saw the suspect right in there, but I didn't linger too long. It was kind of more so a quick peek to make sure he didn't have a firearm and was shooting rounds anywhere. After that, I stepped back and I did a check again, make sure everybody else was okay. I asked a couple people if they were fine, if they were okay, if they were hit, and I called the fire department.
Okay. The sun visor you're talking about, is that the sunroof was there? Maybe there was glass there at one point, and then inside of the glass would be maybe a plastic visor that you
Yes,
can
sir.
pull back. Is that what you're talking about?
It was a plastic visor. There was no glass there.
Okay. And whenever you peeked in, could you briefly just describe to me what you saw? Did you see a driver? Did you see how many people were inside the vehicle? Did you see any weapons, anything like that?
I saw a driver. It was a white male. He was kind of laying curled up by the, I guess it'd be passenger seat above that, where the passenger windshield would be. I didn't really look for any weapons or anything, objects in the vehicle. I was mainly looking at him and trying to check his status. But I didn't look around and search the vehicle or anything. It was more so a quick peek to see his status and get fire department en route to work on him.
Did you give him, or did anybody at that point, whenever y'all were looking inside, you just pull the visor right? Did y'all give him any commands? Did y'all follow up with anything like that as far as commands?
I did not give any commands when I opened the visor. When I peeked in, he wasn't moving or saying anything. So at that point, I got my hand held and I called the fire department and backed away.
Okay. And whenever you say fire department, is the EMS attached to the fire department?
Yes,
is that
sir.
what you mean?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Every time we call for fire, we tell them it's safe to enter. When they dispatch fire department in Bossier City, it's always an ambulance and a fire truck.
Okay. So
And if we need more ambulances, then we'll obviously call for more, but it's always standard. A fire engine and an ambulance go to all the calls.
and is that a procedure for medical attention anytime, whether emergency or non-emergency, to call the fire department and have them come and provide medical aid? Is that
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hypothetically, if during this pursuit, the guy lost control of his vehicle when he crashed out the same way he did, the driver of this vehicle, if he was no threat, if there was no weapons or anything, how would y'all have handled that situation?
I would have retrieved my K9, which is what I was planning to do when I got on scene. Being in my position, every time I go to calls like that, the first thing I do, I get out of my vehicle, I'll go to my passenger's side, and I'll grab my K9. Especially with that, felony charges, I knew he had felony warrants. I didn't know what they were for at the time. But I obviously knew he had felony charges just in the short pursuit that I could hear. So I would always get out, I would have grabbed my K9, and I would have stood by until commands were given, or if he fled from the vehicle, I would have deployed my K-9 after him.
Okay, so if he would have obeyed commands, how would that have gone? Would that be considered like a felony takedown or a
Yes,
felony
sir.
stop?
Yes, sir.
Could you walk me through what typically happens during those stops?
We usually have a couple cover guys with weapons drawn to be a felony stop. One person giving commands, usually be either first person there or somebody with the most knowledge of what happened. At that point, I would have kind of stood by and let somebody who'd been through the entire thing give commands. And if he would have ran or anything, I have my own set of commands that I would give. Bow City Police K-9, stop, surrender, I'm gonna send my dog and he will bite you. Those are commands that I would give if he was running. If he kept running, didn't stop, obviously at that point I would release my dog. But that's all for felony stop, which hypothetically that would have been if none of that would have went down.
Excuse me, Officer Pollitt.
Yes, sir.
I see you have a Semper Fi tattoo on your arm. Do you have any prior military experience?
Yes, sir. I have 4 years of active duty and 4 years reserves.
Okay. Did you receive any specialized training that you could use in law enforcement in your time in the military?
Yes, sir. I was attached to, at the time, was MSOB, Marine Special Operations Battalion. So all we did on a day-to-day basis was we'd be at the range, go over weapon safety, weapon control, visualizing threats, neutralizing threats, and shooting and moving.
Okay. So you have, other than just what you received at the academy, you have
Yes, sir.
extensive firearms training.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The weapon you were firing, I believe you said, was it a Glock 17, a 9mm?
Yes, sir.
Is your weapon, does it have any modifications? Does it have any optics mounted to it?
Yes, sir. It has a red dot optic mounted.
Okay. And was that optic working
Yes, sir.
the day of the incident? Okay. You indicated you did a tactical reload. You wanted to put a fresh magazine. Do you remember how many times you reloaded?
2 separate times.
Okay. And do you know what happened to the magazines? What did you do with your magazines when the bag you're taking out?
I hit the magazine release button, they dropped to the ground, I pulled another one and inserted it into the magazine.
Okay. And then after the incident?
After the incident, I retrieved them.
Okay.
It's kind of force of habit, don't leave gear laying on the deck. So I was walking back to my unit, it's like, oh, my magazines, and I picked them up.
Okay, so you picked up the 2 magazines.
Yes, sir.
Did you pick up any other magazines?
No, sir.
Okay, and then I believe when you were processed later, as far as photographed and everything, did you still have those magazines on
I
your
did.
person, and were they collected by a representative from the state police?
Yes, sir, they were.
Okay. Have you ever been involved in an officer-involved shooting prior to this one?
No, sir.
Okay. And you said you did a quick peek inside the truck. During your quick peek, did you see any weapons in the vehicle?
No, sir.
Okay. And you said you did a quick peek also to check on his status, and that he wasn't saying anything and he wasn't moving.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever physically reach inside the vehicle to check on his status?
No, sir, I did not.
And based on what you saw, and you probably have heard his name by now, best of your recollection, have you ever had any dealings with the suspect prior to this day?
No, sir, not that I recall.
All right. And you also said that there was a Bossier Parish deputy and a Houghton police officer. Other than LSP arriving after the fact, do you recall any other law enforcement agencies on scene?
Bossier City Police. I know there was a couple. At the time I didn't know how many, but I saw at least 3 Bossier City officers, but I was mainly focused on the vehicle and the threat that we had there.
Okay, so
But I
Bossier
did
City.
see all those personnel.
Okay, Bossier City, Bossier Parish, and Houghton.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's all I got.
Man, one more follow-up.
Yes, sir.
So the event happened between 5 and 5:30 in the afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct? It was not exactly at the intersection of US 80 and Benton, but it was right in front of the Zaxby. So just a couple of, maybe 100 feet down or a couple hundred feet down. Could you describe to me at between 5 and 5:30 the traffic that would be there? I know you said at Zaxby's there's a bunch of people. Could you kind of describe to me how much traffic, people that were around you, and things like that?
There was pretty heavy vehicle traffic at the intersection. I mean, enough to where when I was heading eastbound East Texas, both lanes were blocked with, each lane was probably 3-4 cars deep, which kind of forced me to go into oncoming traffic for a short while so I could get to the intersection, and then I had to sit there for a little bit, license irons, make sure nobody was coming there. Obviously, there were still vehicles going both ways. It was 5 o'clock traffic. So I waited for traffic to stop. I went across. There was a lot of foot traffic at the gas station that was facing the suspect vehicle. Gas station to my left, there was a lot of foot traffic. There was a lot of vehicles and foot traffic across the street from the vehicle at the Zaxby's. So there was quite a bit of movement.
Okay. And is there anything you think we've left out that might be important to this that you want to tell us? Any questions we forgot to ask, or any just something during the event? Your traffic on the radio. I know you said that. Did they come across the radio traffic from the dispatcher saying that he was armed?
Dispatch didn't say that.
Okay.
Another officer said that. I don't know who that officer was. I was trying to focus on radio traffic and getting there safely and trying to listen to the actual updates of where he was at that time, so I didn't miss anything.
Okay. Do y'all have, or at the time, were y'all listening to Bossier Parish Sheriff's Office and Houghton Police traffic, or was it just?
I was not. I know Bossier Parish can use our channel, but I don't know if they were on it or not. I don't know who was talking. The only one I distinctly remember was Officer Watson, and that was the initial. I don't know if he was on a part-time because he gave his badge number over the radio, but he said there was a vehicle that just passed Bipsy going over 100, and that's really the only person that I can distinctly remember coming over the radio. At that point, I was listening to updates, side streets, and direction of travel.
Okay. While you're on scene, from the time you arrived on scene to the time that I guess the scene was secured, did you ever hear any mention of, was any other police officers or any civilians yelling gun or saying anything of that nature? Or talking inside?
Not that I recall. When I got there, there was gunfire going off, so I couldn't hear a ton of talking. What I distinctly remember was he's still moving, which came from my right, and a ceasefire that was yelled out from my right. Before that, there was a ton of gunfire going off, so I couldn't hear any talking. When I showed up, there was already a couple rounds going off. I don't know what commands were given before that. And after that, I didn't do a ton of talking. I kind of removed myself because I knew, also about shooting, you can't sit around and chit chat about what's going on. So after I did my quick peek on the fire department, I walked back, I retrieved my magazines, walking back to my truck, and I kind of waited for my supervisor to get there. We made sure kind of everybody was okay, and I kind of stopped talking.
Okay. Was there sirens going? Was your siren or other sirens going at the time whenever you got out of the vehicle? To the best of your knowledge, if you don't remember, it's fine.
I know my lights and everything was activated, but I don't know if my sirens were still going off or somebody turned them off or they were not on. I know my lights were still on, but other than that, I don't remember what all was going on.
Okay. All right, man. Is there anything else you want to add to it? Maybe we forgot to ask.
I might not be on the call log, the dispatch log. Because I never keyed up and said, hey, I'm en route to this. I was just honestly trying to get there. I keyed up on the radio, and our radios are linked to our name, so I know dispatch knew who it was, but I was never on the call, and I never put myself on the call. But I did call out a couple of things. It's in the radio log, and I know she knows who it is. But
Okay.
other than that,
Do y'all operate on a separate, under normal circumstances, Bossier Parish Sheriff's Office, Houghton, and Bossier City operate on separate radio channels?
Yes, sir.
So you don't hear their traffic
Right.
normally? Okay.
Alright, time was 9:49 a.m. in this interview.